iPhone 15 Pro Max versus iPhone 12 Pro Max speed test. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go and see which one could get there first. Now we are looking at the pandemic iPhone, the 2020 model here. This is 3 years old now. That's insane to think about. 12 Pro Max already 3 years old. Pretty insane. The iPhone 15 Pro Max though boots up first with its Apple A17 Pro chip, and over here we do have the Apple A14 Bionic chip, but it wasn't by a ton. It didn't boot up by too much, now did it? Okay, so we're now on the phone. Let's go ahead and take a look at Face ID, and you'll see very fast here, and then over here very quick. So no issues there. That hasn't changed much at all. Either phone you go, they really haven't improved speed there. We'll take a look at the software. So Geekbench 6, we're showing 17.0.3, so that's the latest version. This was an update to fix the heating issue with the iPhone. I could tell you though that mine still feels a little warm, not overheating, but definitely feels a little warm still. But you can see 3.77 gigahertz clock speed. That's almost a full gigahertz higher clock speed than the A14 Bionic chip over here at 2.99. Now 7.47 RAM or 8 gigs of RAM versus 6 gigs. So we have some spec upgrades, but will it make a difference in the actual usage? And so when it comes to the general performance, there's no real difference besides the 120 hertz ProMotion, which could also be found on the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max. It came 1 year after this phone. So no, swiping through iOS, this is very much like the iPhone 15 Plus and the iPhone 15. Which means that, technically it's not incredibly outdated the way it performs. It's pretty darn good still on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. iOS is so simple. I mean, we got a couple of home screens. Yeah, you can mess around and customize them if you want. A control center and an app library. So it doesn't really... I feel like these phones are overpowered these days for what, they run. So you really have to take advantage of the power to really make those, those specs you see like A17 chip to really, make it worth it for you. Like you'll have to play graphically demanding games and also do things like 4K video editing on your phone. There also is one more benefit of that performance upgrade, and that's things like the AI and the cameras and setting this phone up for the future with Vision Pro. So if you do in fact want to get Vision Pro and stuff like that, using your phone with that and stuff will probably be a little bit better on the newer devices. Okay, so here we are at the app test. Everything closed out for both. Let's begin with calendar, and you can see no issue. We'll go into clock, and as you are using these applications, you're gonna see you can do things in the exact same fashion. And there's weather. Let's go ahead and check today. We'll go through the forecast a little bit, and you could see no major issues. We'll go into calculator. We'll do a couple of calculations. You could see nothing gonna slow you down in calculating. Let's go to the App Store. Let's look at some apps. Faster on the iPhone over here. We'll go to the arcade section, and you'll see the 15 Pro Max a little faster to load up some pictures and images and stuff like that just by a hair. And you see this is a little bit slower when refreshing down. We'll go into games, but this is nothing at all that's going to make you feel like you're getting such a big upgrade in speed for daily use. So the iPhone 12 Pro Max, first 5G iPhone and the first one to really start this design with the squared edges, is definitely still doing well. Groupon faster on the right. We'll go into categories. I think I got True Tone on. The display looks yellow. Yes, I do. So let's get out of there. We'll go into things to do, and you're gonna see that's faster on the left. How about some fun and leisure? And you'll see faster on the left. So they'll trade a little bit in certain apps. And I think once everything, once the iPhone has been out, the 15 Pro Max, for like 6 months, maybe even less, maybe like 3 months, all your basic apps will be upgraded to perform better for that phone. But basically the same in Twitter or X here. Set up out of here. We'll go into Instagram, and you'll see no major issues there. We'll go to my page. We'll scroll over here, take a look at this image, zoom in. You'll see pretty much the same. We'll get out of there. We're going to go into YouTube now. and you'll see YouTube first there on the left, and then if you scroll, pretty much the same, although we do have a smoother scroll on the left. Amazon Prime Day coming soon. You'll see that's first on the left, and as we scroll, the iPhone 12 Pro Max looks choppier for sure, and you're not getting coffee that much faster on the left either. So let's go ahead and swipe up out of there, and we'll go into Dead Trigger 2, and we'll see which one could load this game first. And that was the 12 Pro Max, probably because the update's been optimized a little bit better. And one of the main things you're going to notice in the games though is that with that ProMotion, it just looks smoother and it feels smoother when you're like operating in the game, stuff like that. You would still have a good experience on this iPhone, but it looks a little choppier for sure because it doesn't have the 120 hertz display. So like I say, gaming is where it really comes in clutch, where you'll really like having a ProMotion screen. Let's go into Subway Surfers. For basic games like Subway Surfers, or even any casual game for that matter, I don't think you really benefit too much from having the smoother refresh. I don't even think about that. When I do really think about it though is when I'm looking at animations. And once you've seen it for a while, like a ProMotion display, and you go back, it kind of does look a little laggy. Not gonna lie to you. It's hard for me not to see it. But here's the thing. You kind of get used to it again. So like, let's say you were using 120 hertz and you went back to a 60 hertz phone. After a few days, you probably would stop thinking about it so much. But if you're using 120 hertz and when you first see it, you'll definitely notice. So for me, I still have a problem going back with that. I gotta be on at least 90 hertz or above because I can definitely see it now and there's no going back. Not for me anyway. And I think in the future, every iPhone is going to have ProMotion. So yeah, this is probably a couple years or so till that happens, but eventually they're all going to be ProMotion for sure. We might even get a 144 hertz or something like that on the Pro Maxes and go to a 120 hertz on the regular models. And let's go into Geekbench 6, faster on the right. This always happens every year. They got to update this app to get more optimized for the latest. You'll see 3D Mark, pretty similar. These phones are performing almost identical. This is insane. Let's go into iMovie, and a little faster on the right, so maybe a little bit better optimized. When you're actually in these, video editing applications, you're gonna see, well, that one's broken. Let me go ahead and get up out of there. You're gonna see when you actually go to edit these things, they're both basically the same smooth. So if you're using the Apple-based iMovie or even LumaFusion, which is very well optimized, you're not going to have issues with either. Let me feel the heat on this one. A little warm. I wouldn't say toasty. This is not bad either. So pretty much the same in the warmth. Overall, I would say iPhone 12 Pro Max did really good. The 15 Pro Max, only a hair quicker. Maybe it's very slight, almost nothing, honestly. So, and this is like real world applications and stuff like that. Again, pushing them hard. This is going to throttle first for sure. Pushing this hard, it's going to probably sustain that performance longer. So you still get the technically better chip, but you got to ask yourself, how do I use my phone? And in that case, you'll want to look at other areas to decide if you want to do the upgrade. Now, I'm interested to see the RAM management. I know that the iPhone with the 8 gigs of RAM here is not going to reload whatsoever, and you'll see very good, just buttery smooth here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. No issues whatsoever, and everything just a dream here on this phone. So with the ProMotion, that's something you see for sure, is those really smooth animations. Will we see anything reload here with the 6 gigs of RAM phone? And so far, nothing. Again, I'm not sure if it's picking up on camera, but I can definitely see a slight more chop. It irritates me a little looking at 60 hertz after 120, but it's not a big deal. Looks like we don't have no lag, no reloads. Very good stuff on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Man, if you bought a 12 Pro Max, good on you. You have a phone that's still working amazingly well. And honestly, if you're not using camera heavy and your battery is not trashed, and you don't want to do a battery replacement, the only reason I could see you not waiting for the 16 Pro Max would be because you just want a new phone and you want to try out Dynamic Island and you want the zoom and you want USB-C. If you want those things, it's going to be worth it. Okay, and our final Geekbench scores are in, and you can see a 2905 on the 15 Pro Max, a 2132 for the 12 Pro Max, and these are still respectable scores here on the older phone. 5005 on multi. This is a 7180. Those are still good on the 12 Pro Max. While the 15 Pro Max just has blistering performance. Let's go into the 3D Mark and we'll go over here to 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme. I'll start this test and I'll be back when they're done to give you the final differences in the frames per second and stuff like that. I'll be right back. And our final 3D Mark scores are in, and I'm noticing something different since the 17.0.3 update. We now have a larger score on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This actually would have beat the S23 Ultra if I would have did the test on 17.0.3. So we might have to do another test with those two in the future. But you could see 24.1 FPS, 4017 overall score. Scores better than 90% of other devices and 83% of other 15 Pro Maxes. So I wonder what the other 10% that are scoring higher than this are. Maybe gaming phones. You'll see right here, Apple iPhone 12 Pro Max, a 2174 with an average frame rate of 13 FPS. And this is toasty here on the iPhone 12 Pro Max right now. A lot more than that phone over there. And you'll see only better than 52% of other devices and 33% of other 12 Pro Maxes. So this phone right here is still solid. It can still play most games, no issue. It might get a little toasty under heavier usage. But really the story here is that the 15 Pro Max brings massively improved cameras, USB-C, titanium finish, and this phone was not super heavy. So these are almost the same in weight. They're very, very close. Whereas the 13 Pro Max and 14 Pro Max got heavier. Honestly, this is a solid upgrade, but it's not like groundbreaking. So I think if you're looking for an even bigger upgrade, obviously you'll want to wait. But if you do it now and you want to do the upgrade, I think you'll still love the jump to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know which phone you would pick, going forward out of the 15 models down below in the comments. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. And peace.